Interesting people, and it reminds me that when we've been quite active nationally, of course, and that's one of the great things that early on in the 1970s, the Conservation Council established itself as not only a provincial organization, but one that worked nationally. And anyways, I got the chance to chair a meeting with Lucien Bouchard, and got to cut him off, that was quite interesting. He took it all in good fun. That was the first time. The second time I met him was in Vancouver. Now, this was a very, very odd situation. Elizabeth May somehow dragged me into this hotel room with Lucien Bouchard and two giants of the wilderness protection movement in BC, Vicky Husband and the late Colleen McCrory. And he was agitated. He was so mad. And Elizabeth was talking to him, telling him what he had to do and help out these guys to save the, I don't even remember which part of BC now it was, but one of them saved part of BC. And we're always getting tired of this saved part of BC. What about New Brunswick, you know? Anyway, and he just got so mad. It was incredible, really agitated. But I liked the guy. He was smart, he was direct, he didn't mess around. After that meeting, he went from Vancouver to Europe on his famous trip, where he, I think, and it might be blending these things together, he might have unilaterally committed Canada to cutting its greenhouse gas emissions in Bergen, Norway. Yes. And then went to France and announced he was leaving Royal Mulroney, and the Bloc Québécois followed. And we're sorry about that, but it was Elizabeth's fault. She really mad. Now look what trouble we're into. But closer to home, we get to of course meet people every day. And a couple of months ago, we got a call from Jim Irving's office, no lie, and inviting us to a meeting to talk about how we can collaborate on protecting the environment. So I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. So we went to the meeting. A lot of other environmental groups were there, some folks from the university and so on. And they were going around the room, and there was a facilitator. Each of us were supposed to say, how we want to collaborate with Jim Irving on protecting the environment. And so it came to me, and I'm thinking, good God, what am I going to say? So I said, well, what we'd like to do is to help you figure out how to stop pushing the Premier around so much. That's our job. And he said, you know what? We push him around a lot less than you think. Which was not very... So, true story. Almost true. I've heard Vaughn Blaney for many, many years, and I've learned from his speaking style. That meeting did happen, and I did more or less say that. And he more or less said that. I was just paraphrasing. We do a lot of work with the media, as you know, and it leads to some pretty interesting situations. Especially the early phone calls. And years ago, I used to accept doing these interviews at 5:45, 6:15 in the morning, these kinds of things on the morning shows on CBC. I was staying up at Madrin, at Bonnie Ponds and Aguscalan. Now, they didn't live in downtown Madrin, let me tell you. They lived, it's kind of like Warwick, actually, where we live now, out in sort of outer Madrin, in a beautiful place. I was sleeping over on their couch, and the phone rang at about 6:15, and I think it was Patty Gregg at CBC Fredericton saying, David, we're going to do your interview now. And I was dead asleep, picked up the phone, and I said, oh, that's interesting. Can you give me a minute? No, we're going live. Okay. So, Mr. Kuhn, he says, what's the alternative to destroying the planet anyway? Don't. Patty was a great supporter of the Conservation Council, and we appreciated everything he's done for us over those years. But it is a double-edged sword. I remember one